Yeah, you have to make that connection. Because ordinary Americans don't understand age and why helping this woman benefits.
Great job. Thank you so much for doing this and putting this together. This is a great show.
That's hard work. I am happy.
I didn't realize you were here. I think I know the first time. Oh, it's so good to see you. You too. Good. How are you? You're in town? You're in town. Hi, how are you? I used to work at Andy. Sorry, yeah, I know. I mean, I guess I'm not.
Oh, do you want to see the other side?
Thank you. Aren't they fabulous?
She doesn't have name on there anymore. She just says.
They were yeah. So like the transgender opera, for example, that was the $20,000 grant from the State Department in 2021.
It's shitty. It's shitty.
Sorry, my hands are freezing.
I'm just at 10 seconds. Okay, I That's it. I'm not trying to.
So I just kind of wanted to get your reaction to what does it say that those are the main programs that we that they were funded by well, I'm not right. So I know with the AID, so I have a humble role in responding. However, as someone
Because the truth and the reality are not. So they have to resort to lies, they have to resort to gas.
in those organizations are reaching out to me because they can't get any information from within USAID. So there's a lot of
whether it is the things on that. What's the opposite of the fact sheet the White House put out? The false sheet that the White House put out, or whether it's the lies that keep getting repeated about the so-called condoms for Gaza, which, by the way, if you would actually spend that much on condoms at the rate USAID pays, that would be more than 1 billion condoms. No one ever was trying to send 1 billion condoms to Gaza. It's ridiculous, and it just, again, all they have are lies and gaslighting. And it's really, really important to just speak the truth of what this agency is and what this agency does.
So you see this as kind of intentional, not,
Oh,
not a
100%.
mistake.
No. I mean, they are conducting a disinformation campaign in order to kill this agency.
I just want to introduce myself. I emailed with a Tom
Oh.
to try and get your organization.
Oh, okay.
I will follow up.
Okay, yeah, I was talking to one of your producers about going on Chris Cuomo's show last night, and it didn't come together. But I'm happy to talk.
That'd be great. I'll
Okay.
follow up again. I'll reference this. Now you see my face,
Okay.
and you know I'm a
Face
nice,
the name.
friendly person.
And here's my card, by the way. I'm
Okay.
fully opposed. I don't know if there's a best way to use it, but I'm on the same page.
Hi, so that was Reuters.
Oh, hi.
Julio.
Hi there.
We just want to chat with you again about what you said.
Yeah.
And if you could speak to the whole point of with the perception of USAID workers being radical, this agency being radical. Can you talk a little bit?
I say this with love when I say that USAID workers are just some of the most low-key folks that the low-key but low-key brave, low-key courageous, low-key patriotic folks you will ever meet. They're not radicals. Most of them in normal times would go through their entire careers without ever making it, without ever being in the news, without ever, being in the public eye in any way. And what is radical is to talk about patriotic Americans who have served their countries, patriotic Americans who have served their country in war zones, in epidemic hot zones, as if they are criminals, as if they and their service are somehow harming this country. It is the attacks on patriotic Americans serving their country and working for their government that is the radical act.
And can you talk about how stopping funding and how other countries could affect us?
Yeah. I mean, so many ways. American power and American standing in the world do not come only from our military might. When you go around the world, what inspires people about America is what they see as the example of our goodness and our values, not the size of our military or how many aircraft carriers we have or how many fighter jets we have. What inspires people around the world about America is the values and the story that America represents, and USAID is the manifestation of that around the world. So it makes us weaker, it makes us smaller. It also will just materially harm millions of people if USAID goes away. There are today 20 million people around the world who are on HIV antiretroviral drugs because of U.S. foreign aid. If USAID goes away, they get kicked off those drugs. Their HIV infections come back, and we suddenly find ourselves once again in a resurgent global HIV epidemic. That is not good for America. That will reach our shores. There are many, many examples like that of the ways in which the work of USAID helps people abroad and simultaneously advances the interests of America and represents the values of America. But these are not values that are shared, frankly, by Donald Trump or Elon Musk, and that is why they're attacking it.
And can you tell me again what your name is?
Sorry, my name is, sure, and I'm on the website for the event today, but my name is Jeremy Konyndyk, Konyndyk, and I am now the president of Refugees International, but I formerly served in the Obama and Biden administrations in senior roles at USAID. Yeah.
We're colleagues.
It is a pro-American idea. I don't love the America First terminology. I think that's got a pretty checkered history in this country. But I will say this. When I served at USAID, I worked with many Republicans. I traveled with Republicans to disaster zones. I worked with them and traveled with them to visit the crisis responses that my teams were leading. And they were supportive. I worked well with Republicans. They worked well with me. This used to be a nonpartisan thing. It should still be a nonpartisan thing because it serves America regardless of who's in charge. It advances American interests regardless of who's in charge. And it is shameful if Republican politicians can no longer acknowledge that because the world's richest man is shouting about it on his Twitter feed. They don't care. Thank you.
visit or give a testing?
So proud to be in a government that is being heard people by the youth. I think what we've seen in the last week is that our voices are not being heard, and that we are letting billionaires dictate American laws. That is not what America should do. That is not what
Whatever is left in more resistance, if they succeed with this
programs, which is completely understandable. With a process like that, we all thought there was a chance that they would want to continue. But it's becoming clear that that's not what the objective is. The objective is to tear down this foreign assistance industry. People have spent their lives building expertise and work that is valued overseas.
I always thought it's like a partisan thing.
And it was. And there are a lot of Republicans that are very supportive of USAID, but you know, Trump is taking everything over, and anybody who speaks out is basically going to be canceled and fired and run out of town. It started in the last Trump administration, and it's just become worse and worse in the last 2 years. I was just hoping to see more people.
So we're going to go live. As you know, probably, sorry that we've been a little bit late in this, but as you know, there have been like a lot of things that are happening here across the country. And so we're going to go live to an anti-Doge rally in just 1 second. And bear with me 1 second. And it will be very exciting, and this is what's happening across the country right now. And people are very upset. It's really unfortunate that that this is happening, but people are very, 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 very upset. Stand by 1 second. Trying to get everything done here. Stand by. This is a Doge rally. The name of this rally is people are waiting outside in Washington. There's a lot happening right now across the country. There are protests scheduled for every single moment, every single day, every single minute of the hour here. So stand by, and we're just going to give you some live input here, live image coming out of Washington, D.C. And the first thing you'll see is that nobody elected Elon. Stand by 1 second. Here we go.
For the Office of HIV/AIDS and Global Health Bureau at USAID, and last week we got the notice that we were laid off,
with very little prior notice or communication from our employer, and now we're just fighting to save the entire agency. Our jobs are gone, but hopefully the agency will remain, and one day we can come back and continue doing the work that we love to do.
And how long have you been doing your job? And tell us a little bit about the work you've been doing and what happened.
Yeah, so I was 1 month away from hitting my 2-year anniversary. I moved to DC for this job. It was my dream job. I worked on the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, PEPFAR, which works to send medicine, life-saving medicine, to about 20 million people around the world. And since 2003, when it was started by Bush, and was supported by both sides of the aisle for the past 20-some years, it has saved upwards of 26 million lives. So that was the work we were doing every day, day in, day out, working on ending the AIDS epidemic around the world and saving lives.
And can you tell us, like, what do you hope will happen next? You heard a lot during the during this protest, do your job. What do you feel about
It's so hard to say because it does feel a little demoralizing right now. I think the speed at which this has happened is on purpose. Of course, we've been hearing a lot of people talking about that. But I just hope that people, I guess, keep up with Trump and just keep fighting and not let him tire us out. I want our representatives to save American jobs. Like, this is almost 10,000 American jobs that have been wiped out in the past week and a half. And if he's successful with USAID, I'm concerned that he will just start targeting other agencies. We've been seeing it with the NIH, we've been seeing it with State Department, with the Department of Education, and I'm just worried that we're the first domino.
Okay, so what we've done here is we have other feeds coming in, and it's really interesting. And people, as you can see, they're very, very, very upset with Elon Musk and what's happening with Elon Musk. The problem is that they see Elon Musk as a person who really shouldn't be involved with government for various reasons. So stand by here. Let's go back to those live pictures as I try and locate all of the different feeds that are coming in across the country. Very busy day here.
And the private sector and other nonprofits to, have more localized. Started applying to jobs. Global health is my passion. Service is my passion. Implementing partners that we work with are also on pause, and thousands of people will be applying for the same jobs. So I think it's going to be really tough for the next few months, but I'm blessed to have the support of my friends and family, and I will be okay. I'll get another job, but the more concerning part that we have
The
to
structure
remember
motorized pergola system is reinventing the way homeowners experience the outdoors. The most versatile, modern, useful outdoor patio space ever designed. It creates the perfect blend of sun, shade, and shelter at all times so you can still enjoy time outdoors. even if it rains, is windy, or the sun is out. With the structured motorized pergola, your family now enjoys quality time together in the fresh air, sun, and perfect amount of shade. See what Victoria has to say.
So we love our structured patio cover because it feels very much like an extension to our home. It doesn't feel like a patio, it feels like a living room, which is exactly what we wanted. We spend a lot of time out here as a family. My daughter wants to watch TV out here every single day. We're barbecuing out here. I actually work from home a lot, and so I spend a lot of time out here working, but it just feels like our house just got bigger because now we have this extended space. We are extremely satisfied with the quality, the design. We get compliments on it. Every time anyone walks back here, they're like, whoa, because it feels almost like we're in a commercial space. In terms of the quality elements of the louvered patio cover, I think that we really appreciate are just things like having electric wired through. We have a ceiling fan. We have a gas heater. We have lighting. It really feels like a room. We call this our living room, our outdoor living room. It's not just a cover. It has the ability to open, let light in, but also gives us really fun, elements for nighttime as well, like lighting and heat. I think the design was the first.
Preventing, civil unrest in other countries.
Like the past administration that really tried to destroy Title IX.
It's incredibly important that Congress immediately acts on this priority. I think the president is really setting the tone, making this a very immediate priority for this administration, just as he promised to do on the campaign trail. And I'd like to get into the executive order a little bit because it is the news of the day here at the White House, and talk about what this executive action will actually do. So the executive order that the president will be signing later this afternoon, as I said, upholds the promise of Title IX. It also will require the DOJ to abide.
So that's Carolyn the vet, and she's trying to get out ahead of everything that's happening with President Trump about what's happening. And stand by 1 second. We'll go back to her live.
also support keeping biological men out of women's sports. And so I know the president is very excited about the bill signing that will take place at 3 o'clock this afternoon. You will hear from him more on that later, and we look forward to seeing you there, Stage. So thank you very, very much. Garrett, great to see you here today.
Thank you. On Gaza, the president has spent basically his entire public career criticizing foreign entanglements, nation building, sending American troops to fight abroad, particularly in the Middle East. This plan seems like it could ultimately involve all of those things. Can you explain this reversal and how building and owning Gaza squares with America First foreign policy?
I would reject the premise of your question that this forces the United States to be entangled.
So, as you can see, what's happening right now is that Caroline Leavitt is talking about, keeping men out of women's sports, which is definitely a very important thing. My personal opinion, everybody's entitled to their personal opinions, that men should not compete in women's sports and women should not compete in men's sports. If that is the case, if men and women want to compete in each other's sports, then possibly we need to create a different category of sports that will allow people to communicate or to participate in sports that they want to. And so now we're just going to go really quickly, try and go live to a place that is happening, another thing that is happening. That is going on with them. Stand by 1 second.
Already panned this plan. What foreign partners, if any, have expressed any interest in being part of it?
Well, the president has said he's been socialing this idea for quite some time. He's been thinking about this. He said in his remarks last night, this was not a decision or an announcement that he takes lightly. And the president has already spoken to the President El-Sisi. In fact, that was his first foreign leader call. He's meeting with the King of Jordan, King Abdullah, next week. He spoke with the King of Bahrain. He spoke with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. And he has made it very clear, he's been very vocal, that he expects our partners in the region, particularly Egypt and Jordan, to accept Palestinian refugees temporarily so that we can rebuild their home. I'd like to show you some images of Gaza that were taken. Fox News aired this. I mean, that is, as they put it, an apocalyptic scene in Gaza. This is an uninhabitable place for human beings. Do you really think that families can live their dream in a region that looks like this, with no running water, no electricity? And the special envoy to the president, Steve Witkoff, recently traveled to Gaza, as you all know. And he came back with images that he showed the president of the dire situation here. And the president made this decision with a humanitarian heart for all people in the region. Peter.
Thank you, Caroline. Are any officials here preparing to fight Democratic lawmakers in the streets?
Absolutely not.
So
and thanks for the question.
Some elected Democrats are so steamed about Doge. Congresswoman LaMonica McIver says we are at war. Ilhan Omar says we might actually see somebody get killed. And Chris Van Hollen says we have to fight this in the Congress. We have to fight this in the streets. So what now?
And may I just point out, if you heard that type of violent, enticing rhetoric from our side of the aisle, from Republican leaders on Capitol Hill, I think there would be a lot more outrage in this room today. It's unacceptable, the comments that have been made by these Democrat leaders, and frankly, they don't even know what they're talking about. Because President Trump was elected with a mandate from the American people to make this government more efficient. He campaigned across this country with Elon Musk, vowing that Elon was going to head up the Department of Government Efficiency, and the two of them, with a great team around them, were going to look at the receipts of this federal government and ensure it's accountable to American taxpayers. That's all that is happening here, and for Democrat officials to incite violence and encourage Americans to take to the streets is incredibly alarming, and they should be held accountable for that rhetoric.
It sounds like something that they're most concerned about is Doge engineers with access to Treasury systems. Can you clarify, do the Doge engineers have read-only access in these systems, so they are not allowed to write new code? No. They are not, okay. No. And then one more thing. NBC is reporting that some of the illegal immigrants that we've seen rounded up and arrested are not being deported, they're being released with ankle or wrist monitoring devices, or they have to check in on the phone. So is the administration arresting more people than you have room for?
I have seen the reports, and I'm glad you brought it up because we want to address it. There have been a total of 461 illegal aliens. This is of this morning when I got this information from DHS. That have been released from custody. Of the more than 8,000 that have been arrested since President Trump was inaugurated. It's less than 6%, and there are reasons for their release. Some of the factors include a lack of significant likelihood of removal in the foreseeable future, lack of detention availability, which is something this president
We've got several House members right now heading into Treasury trying to get some answers. When they come back, we'll get started, but keep on going.
Increase funding for Border Patrol and for ICE to increase detention capability in our facilities. And then other serious medical conditions have also been the reasons for some of the release of these individuals. But none of them have final deportation orders. Many of them are probably contesting their immigration status. I'd refer you to DHS for more details, but I did get that information because I knew it would be a question, so thank you. Sure. Yes.
The president and you here again today have made clear, given the devastation, you think Palestinians have no choice but to leave Gaza and go elsewhere. But Palestinians say this is their home. They don't want to go. The president last night said he's willing to use the military if necessary. Is the U.S. prepared to remove Palestinians from Gaza by force?
The president is prepared to rebuild Gaza for Palestinians and all people in the region, peace-loving people who want real economic development and opportunity in the region. This is a region that has been controlled by Iranian-backed terrorists, Hamas, who have brutalized not just Israelis but Palestinians too. It is because of Hamas that you see those images on that screen, that Gaza has become a demolition site because Hamas launched that brutal attack on Israel on October the 7th. And so again, I would stress, President Trump wants to ensure that this can be a place where all people can live in peace. He is a peacemaker in chief. He made that very clear in his first term. And as for how that will be accomplished, the president and his team are talking with our allies in the region to consider next steps.
But should the American people be prepared to see U.S. military on the ground fighting a ground war against Hamas?
Again, the president has not committed to U.S. troops in the region.
But it is an option.
I have said that the president has not committed to that yet. Sure.
If I could just follow up on that, though, why not rule out the idea of committing U.S. troops? This has been a long-standing
Did you know you might get a big cash payout if you were in a car accident last year?
Has made really over the last decade.
Even if you weren't driving,
talking about
just click the link around here.
Something the U.S. wants. Why not rule out?
Because I think the president is very good when he's making deals and negotiating, not to rule out anything because he wants to preserve that leverage in negotiations. And so I think that's what he's doing here. Mary.
Follow up on that, though. He also said that everyone loves this plan. He said that in the Oval Office this morning.
Sure.
In fact, the Deputy Prime Minister of Jordan called it a declaration of war on the Arab people. So how does he square the fact that even some Republicans on the Hill are objecting to this or questioning this? How does he square the fact saying everyone loves this plan?
Well, King Abdullah of Jordan will be here next week, so I can provide you more context on the conversations he will have directly with the President of the United States after that meeting. And I would just point out that there's been a lot of leaders and officials all around the world who have doubted, I suppose, the deal-making ability of President Trump. You heard the Panama leader saying that he would not agree to some of the concessions that he has now made because of Secretary Rubio's visit. You had the Colombian president saying he wouldn't accept flights of Colombian illegal nationals who have entered into our country illegally, and those flights are underway. So actions speak louder than words. Dasha.
Caroline, you said the president has been working on this idea for a while behind the scenes now. Is there a written plan based on the president's proposal for Gaza? And if so, when was it drafted and who had a hand in that?
The plan was written in the president's remarks last night as he revealed it to the world and to the American people, and his team are continuing to be engaged on this effort. I saw the National Security Advisor this morning. He has a very busy day of calls, and they will, again, continue to engage with our partners.
Yeah, you can hear me now,
Steve
yeah?
Witkoff as well. Mary.
Two questions for you on the news of the day. So, how is today's executive order going to impact the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles? For example, would a man who thinks that he's a transgender woman be allowed to compete as a female on U.S. soil?
It's a very good question, and the president has actually mentioned this, that he does expect the Olympic Committee and the NCAA to no longer allow men to compete in women's sports. And I think the president, with the signing of his pen, starts a very public pressure campaign on these organizations to do the right thing for women and for girls across the country. Again, this is an incredibly popular position. There have been many notable female athletes who have had the courage to speak out against some very powerful institutions in this country. They deserve to have a voice and a say. The president is bringing their voice to the highest level at the White House this afternoon, and he expects these organizations to comply with this federal executive order that he'll be signing today.
Thank you. And one more, on media coverage of this executive order and the topic in general, what's the White House's view of framing that calls men transgender females or similar rhetoric coming from organizations like the ACLU and GLAAD?
Well, it's been very clear. The policy of this administration is that there are only two sexes, male and female. Pretty simple. Brian's on.
USAID has gotten a lot of attention in the last couple of days with some of these bizarre things that we've been, taxpayers have been funding. Now it looks like there are a couple of media outlets that have been dragged into this conversation as far as USAID funding as well. Does the president have any comment on that?
So upon coming out here to the briefing room, I was made aware of the funding from USAID to media outlets, including Politico, who I know has a seat in this room, and I can confirm that the more than $8 million taxpayer dollars that have gone to essentially subsidizing subscriptions to Politico on the American taxpayers' dime will no longer be happening. The DOGE team is working on canceling those payments now. Again, this is a whole-of-government effort to ensure that we are going line by line when it comes to the federal government's books. And this president and his team are making decisions across the board on, do these receipts serve the interests of the American people? Is this a good use of the American taxpayers' money? If it is not, that funding will no longer be sent abroad, and American taxpayers will see significant savings because of that effort. Thank you. I'd like to give some love to the back row. I've heard that unfortunately they haven't been called on in years past. So, Reagan, why don't you go ahead?
Did you vote for that? The WHC announced that comedian Amber Ruffin, who has called the president a toddler with his pants pulled down, will be the entertainment for this year's Correspondents' Dinner. Does the White House have a reaction to this choice, and will the president be attending the dinner this year?
Certainly an interesting choice. I have the president's invitation on my desk. I have the invitation for myself on my desk as well. Haven't talked to the president about it. When he makes his decision, I will let you all know. But definitely an interesting choice of the comedian. I'll talk to the boss about it and see what we decide. Sure, go ahead. Yes, yes.
On the executive order set to be signed today, you said that this will be enforced. Can you spell out for the public how exactly the administration plans to enforce this, even at the local level? And on top of that, there are human rights groups who say
What's your credit card debt balance? If it's $10,000 or more, here are 3 easy solutions you can start implementing today. And number 3 is an absolute game changer. Number 1, the first step to tackling your credit card debt is understanding how much debt you actually have and how long it could follow you around for if you're only making minimum payments or have fallen behind. Minimum payments could literally keep you in debt for decades. $10,000 in debt can take anywhere from 14 to 26 years to pay off if you're only paying the minimums. And that's just $10,000. I know many of us have a lot more than that. Number 2, try this popular method to tackle debt. Start with minimum payments to stay current on all your cards. Then take any additional money you can afford and put all of it towards your smallest debt until it's paid off. By paying off your smallest debt first, you'll likely eliminate the most interest in the shortest amount of time. Then work your way up, knocking out one debt at a time until you're debt-free. Number 3, and this one is a game changer. Anyone with $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans may qualify for help from National Debt Relief. Getting started is easy, and the process has already helped over 500,000 people and counting.
I was on the computer working on something. What caught my eye was a little shield, red, white, and blue shield, and it said National Debt Relief. And I called immediately. Congratulations, you qualify to be a part of the National Debt Relief program. And you're not alone in that shame where I cried. I'm debt-free.
Trade advisor Peter Navarro, when asked about the External Revenue Service today, said, quote, we're going to collect a lot of
country. I hadn't. When I got the email that said congratulations, you are now debt-free, I still was like in disbelief about it. I can't even. It was such a release. My relationship is much better now. There is this entire stress that is to be gone. I'm debt-free.
I am debt-free.
Find out if you're eligible today. Click the link on this video and answer a few short questions. If you have $10,000 or more in debt, there's a good chance you'll qualify. But don't wait. Be sure to apply before next Friday. Go ahead and click that link. You'll be glad you did.
Can you confirm that under the President's plans for Gaza, any and all Palestinians who want to stay in Gaza on their land will be allowed to do so?
I can confirm that the President is committed to rebuilding Gaza and to
It was absolutely amazingly divine.
One of the most extraordinary evenings of my life. I've really been that joyful,
like
amazing.
Usually I'm not speechless. I am speechless today. To doing that with this very bold new plan.
It was absolutely riveting, beautiful. It's very nice to see a show that concentrates on the highest and the best of humanity.
My heart is fluttering because of this performance, and it's going to be with me for the rest of my life.
I've been in business for 52 years, so I have experience of knowing the difference between average, good, and beautiful. And this is magnificent.
As possible. That's why he signed a litany of executive orders.
The technique was unbelievable. I mean, the lines, the toes, the arch, and they all move as one. And that shows the heart of it.
I used to be with the Royal Ballet as a principal dancer. It was fabulous. You finish a line, it almost ripples into the next movement. I wish they'd do more of that in the Royal Ballet.
The Chinese traditional dance with the sleeves. I've actually did a dance a few years ago that incorporated the sleeves, and I know how intricate and how hard it is to work with those props.
It kind of resembled a lot within Chinese culture, like the yin and the yang. One minute they were moving very slowly and very synchronized, and all of a sudden the bodies would just spring out, and it was just incredible.
Phil, I'm not sure why you're asking that question, because I've already said the President has not.
The storytelling behind it, I think, has been really powerful. It gives me goosebumps.
It's using that creative medium to also highlight values of the culture and virtues of the culture, things like discipline, humility, faithful devotion to one's spouse. And I think those are all really beautiful values that we've lost touch with a bit.
Even my son, who's 8 years old, was able to understand quite a bit of the stories being told. Very beautiful for him to watch as well and be exposed to this kind of art.
Abolishment of the Department of Education continues, which, as the President said yesterday, it's something
the orchestra is absolutely sensational. Sometimes I just closed my eyes to listen to the music, and it just brought me somewhere else.
It's so uplifting and beautiful, but also at the same time it's so relaxing.
And the way they combine the traditional Western instruments with the classical Chinese instruments was really quite profound.
I would say it deserves a grant. Our education system is failing students in this country. The Nation's Report Card, I brought it up in my remarks last week, it shows that fourth graders are not reading.
It's really interesting to see, especially the coming together of CGI with the live performances is some of the best I've seen.
Every time a gentleman would fall into the stage and come out on the screen, I was really delighted like a child.
It's unlike anything I've ever seen. We can make academia great again in this country.
The ancient Chinese spiritual culture was presented with such authenticity. It was like being transported back into that time period where spirituality was a part of every aspect of life.
For the longest time, I could not get my son to accept his Chinese heritage until I brought him here to see the show. He was in tears. He was so proud to be Chinese.
Discussions or negotiations on your first question about what would be offered.
This entire show takes place before communism. And the theme it brings of compassion and caring, goodness and light was very evident to me, and one of the reasons I enjoyed it so much.
I really liked how much they emphasized kindness and being there for your fellow man and just bringing humanity back into the everyday. I just feel very uplifted and inspired to go forth being better.
I really feel purified after the whole show. It's incredible.
And you could see on their faces this joy, this love, this fire, this passion. It was magnificent.
magnificent. And I believe that the people here who put on this brave performance are part of the forces of light that will vanquish the forces of darkness.
There was a gentleman sitting next to her. He's never been to one of these before. And I said to him, wait till you see this show. And afterwards he said, you were so right. It is so beautiful. And yes, it is very uplifting.
It fills the heart. It fills the cup with joy.
I just could not get enough of it.
You have to come see it.
It's worth every penny.
People need to come and see and experience Shenyang and breathe it in, because it's something good for the body, it's good for the mind, and above all, it's good for the soul.
Who are honorably signing up to serve in our nation's military, to see somebody like Pete Hegseth, the new Secretary of Defense, who is a proven warfighter, who risked his life in battle for this country, who understands what it means to deploy and to defend the Constitution and your nation abroad and to put your life on the line. When they see a leader like that and a leader like President Trump, who is committed to peace through strength, that's very inspiring, and we look forward to seeing those recruitment numbers and retention numbers skyrocketing over the next 4 years. And I know Pete Hegseth is committed to increasing recruitment at all branches of the military. I would defer you to the Department of Defense on exactly what he plans to implement. Jeff.
Thanks very much. Two questions. One, the president yesterday used the word permanent for permanently resettle Palestinians. I hear you saying temporarily today. Is that a shift or a specific change that you want to highlight? And my second question is, yesterday he spoke about the U.S. owning Gaza. Who owns Gaza now, and how would the U.S. acquire ownership?
Well, Gaza is currently run by Iranian-backed terrorists in the Middle East, Hamas, who we all agree, I think everybody in the region agrees, that can no longer stand. Just look at the events of October 7th and the events since. And the president, again, is committed to rebuilding the region for all people who want to return to it once it is no longer a demolition site, and it's a place where people can actually live and thrive in harmony, as he said last night, his words, not mine. Daniel.
Permanent versus temporarily resettle?
The president has made it clear that they need to be temporarily relocated out of Gaza for the rebuilding of this effort. Again, it's a demolition site right now. It's not a livable place for any human being. And I think it's actually quite evil to suggest that people should live in such dire conditions. Daniel.
Thank you so much. The daily guidance says that the president will be meeting with a pair of governors today, Governor Abbott of Texas and Governor Newsom of California. It comes after the president took executive action to turn the water back on in California. Billions of gallons are flowing out. What can you tell us about the two meetings and the importance of President Trump's actions to help people in California?
Sure. Those meetings will be taking place shortly, so I will get out of here to get to those meetings. We can always provide you a readout, as we always do. We try to be very transparent about what the president is doing in the Oval Office. Perhaps I'll even call you in to join him. We never know around here, as you all know. But Governor Abbott is obviously a great friend and an ally to the president. He has been on the front lines of the border crisis in this country. And as for Governor Gavin Newsom, well, the president is willing to work with anybody from blue states or red states to do what's best for the American people. And the president really enjoyed his trip to Pacific Palisades last week. He felt very inspired by the frustration of the residents there, and he has been wholeheartedly committed to ensuring that the water is flowing in California to prevent these wildfires, and also that people have access to their properties. And he has continued to apply tremendous pressure to Gavin Newsom and also the Los Angeles mayor to allow private residents and property owners to access their property. He believes that's their right to do so, and they should be able to do it. And one more thing before I wrap up, because I do want to get to these meetings, and I will see you all at the EO signing later this afternoon.
Lucky.
I would just say that
something spectacular in the Agua, with 3 award-winning destinations, each with its own distinct personality. There's always something new waiting for you to discover. Agua Caliente Casinos, 3 premier properties, 1 extraordinary experience.
Of crap that this administration is cutting federal waste and funding, like $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala, $6 million to fund tourism in Egypt, $20 million on a new Sesame Street show in Iraq, $4.5 million to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. I could go on, and I'm happy to provide this list to every single one of you. Democrats are outraged that the American people want to be, they want their taxpayers going to good uses, not stuff like this. But then they're very quiet about the fact that there are still North Carolinians and people in California who have lost everything, and in the last 4 years, this federal government did nothing to help them. This president will continue to put Americans first, and I think the successes of this week so far speak to that, and it's only Wednesday. So I'll see you guys later this week, and we'll see you this afternoon. Thank you very much.
We are here. We are also going to make sure that they uphold the law. We are not going to sit around while you go ahead and desecrate our Constitution, or you look at the laws that have been passed into law and say, never mind, we'll just ignore that. Instead, we are going to be in your face, we are going to be on your asses, and we are going to make sure, you understand what democracy looks like. This ain't it. So let me tell you something, Mr. Trump. You gonna learn a few lessons from us. And I'm gonna be the first one. You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out, all right? Now let me be clear. What Maxwell said is true. Our job is to conduct oversight. We both serve on the oversight committee. And right now, as elected leaders who tried to go in, we were told, well, hold on a second. We got to check to see if you can come in. Now, y'all know he likes to pal around with Putin, right? He's trying to turn us into Russia. But I got news for him. We, the people, will not go. It's cold out here, and yeah, we won't go. We won't go. We won't go. We won't go. Listen, the final thing to say is there are those that have said that we may face a constitutional crisis. I want you to know that the crisis is here. I want you to know that the power belongs to the people.
Not quite as good as yesterday. The sun was shining yesterday and it was a little nicer, but thank you all for being here. And I want to open the press conference today with a question. What is a woman? Ask the Democrats and they'll probably tell you they don't know.
I am telling you right now that the
I bring this up because today is National Girls in Women's Sports Day. House Republicans kept our promise. We passed a bill. I know it's hard to believe that we had to pass this bill, but we passed a bill to prevent biological males from freely walking into girls' locker rooms. It's ridiculous that we had to do it, but here we are. Democrats would rather allow men
Find
to
the lowest
compete
priced
in
health
girls'
plans
sports
at
than protect
healthforcalifornia.com.
our little girls.
Get a quote in 30 seconds.
They are
Find top
truly
carriers like
out of
Anthem,
touch
Kaiser, Blue
with
Shield,
reality.
and more.
And
Lowest
for
prices,
those that
simple
support
process,
this insanity,
healthforcalifornia.com.
You're allowed to live in your distorted reality. But that doesn't mean I have to live in your distorted reality. And our girls don't need to live
Taxes
in your
was
distorted
feeling
reality
so
either.
stuck.
We fought for 50
Now Taxes
years
is having a
for
TurboTax
women's
expert
rights.
who does your taxes
Now
from start to
Democrats
finish.
want to undo it. I can assure you
While you
that
check in
will
anytime
not happen under my watch. House Republicans are committed
and get the most money back on
a
your
stop
time.
to this
Now
madness.
this is Taxes.
We are the party of common sense. The difference between the Democrats and the Republicans is that our agenda is about opportunity, about freedom, and about putting America first, while their agenda is about control, dependence, and America last. I thank Congressman Greg Steube and many others for their leadership, on passing this legislation. Now, let's turn our attention to the fentanyl crisis at the border. President Trump has made serious movement towards ending this. He worked with 2 allies to stop the flow of deadly fentanyl from entering our country. The days of America getting walked all over, my friends, those days are gone. In just his second week, President Trump's deals with Canada and Mexico show his effectiveness. We finally have a president where his actions match his words. His ability to negotiate has saved lives. He's keeping the promise that he put forth to the American people. He's getting results, promises made, promises kept. And the House will follow his actions. We will pass a bill to increase the penalties for trafficking, particularly fentanyl-related substances. We sincerely hope the Democrats will join House Republicans in voting yes, in voting this week on the HALT Fentanyl Act. Last time, more than 100 Democrats voted against this bill. We'll see if they've changed their tune. They have a choice to save lives today. I applaud Congressman Griffin and Latta for advancing this life-saving legislation. And now, I'd like to turn it over to a colleague and a friend of mine, Monica Dela Cruz. You're welcome. Thank you.
Let's kick him out as
Thank you
well.
so much for inviting me to speak to all of leadership here. I appreciate it. And to speak on such an important day, National Girls in and Women in Sports. First, I want to tell you that I'm a mother. I'm a mother of a teenage daughter. And I will always fight for women to be with women in the locker room and women to play against women in sports. Let me be very clear. Young girls should never be forced to be in a locker room with men. Never. Period. In fact, this shouldn't even be a discussion, and it's appalling that we have to hold a press conference to tell people on the left that men should not be in a locker room with women and that men should not be in sports with women. Again, I'm going to tell you that that's wrong. I'm proud to be pro-women's sports. I will always fight for little girls across the nation to make sure that they do not have to have their dreams of playing sports squashed by men playing in their sports. In addition to protecting young girls, we're also tackling the fentanyl crisis. As you know, I live in a border district. I am honored to represent a border district where we have seen the chaos that has happened under the Biden administration. This must and will stop, and we are already seeing it stop under President Trump's administration. Just in the recent years, in South Texas, our law enforcement made a stop. And in this stop, they found 3 gallons of liquid fentanyl that was seized. 3 gallons. We think of 3 gallons of milk in our refrigerator. Those same 3 gallons could kill over 5 million people. That is twice the size of Houston, Texas. Wrap your arms around that. And that was just one drug stop by our brave law enforcement officers in South Texas. That being said, I proudly support the HALT Fentanyl Act to help our law enforcement agents, not only in South Texas, but all across this nation. As a congresswoman, I have sat with many mothers like me that have young teenagers who have died because of fentanyl, because their child took what they thought was a candy or took a pill for an allergy or another ailment and ended up dying because of this. This act is so important, and I'm proud to support it. I'm proud to join President Trump and all of my colleagues to stop the chaos at the border, but to also stop the fentanyl that is crossing our border. I thank you for your time and for your attention. We must keep men out of women's sports, and we must stop the chaos at the border and the fentanyl that has come through because of it. Thank you.
Do you understand that the money makers are in charge?
Yesterday, President Trump hosted his first official White House visit with a foreign leader in this his second term. And I can't think of a more fitting guest than Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The message heard around the world from Washington was clear. Israel is our strongest ally in the Middle East, and our support for Israel will not waver. Not now, not ever. Not only has President Trump promised to help bring the war in Israel to an end and the remaining hostages home, but he will also help secure peace for innocent civilians in Gaza. That is the kind of leadership our allies need and deserve after the Biden administration's foreign policy failures over the last 4 years. The president's meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu also comes on the heels of investigations launched by the Department of Education into 5 universities that enabled anti-Semitism to run rampant on their campuses after the Hamas horrific attack against Israel on October 7th. One of those colleges just happens to be the University of Minnesota Twin Cities campus, which squad member Ilhan Omar visited earlier last year to champion the pro-terrorist, anti-Semitic protests happening across the country and to inspire more movements of hate. The far left's continued embrace of vicious attacks against the Jewish community has shown their true colors. There is no denying that today's Democrat Party is the pro-terrorist, anti-Semitic party. And now that
have you started your taxes only to quit when your refund didn't meet your expectations?
Is here.
Free Tax USA is here to help.
And we'll say it again.
We ask all the right questions to maximize your credits and
deductions. In this country.
Not in our
Other
politics,
tax services leave
not
out
on
extra
our college
questions or skip
campuses,
deductions
not
to make their software
Our
seem
House
easy.
Republican
But
majority,
this
alongside President
oversimplification
Trump,
comes at a cost,
and our
where you could be
Republican
missing
colleagues in the
money-saving
Senate
deductions
will
and
fight
credits.
every day
At Free
to
Tax
ensure that our
USA,
ally
we guide you
Israel
through the
is
process,
supported.
checking for
Jewish
all the ways to save on
Americans
taxes
remain
and
protected,
helping you keep
and
more of your hard-earned
anti-Semitism
money.
is eliminated
Plus,
once and
you
for
save
all.
even more
I
with
wanna
free
thank
federal filing
President
and the
Trump
biggest
for his
refund
leadership
possible,
on this issue, and I know
guaranteed.
we're here
So why
on
wait?
Capitol Hill.
Secure
Those
your
of us
biggest
that are here on
refund at
Capitol Hill are also
freetaxusa.com.
looking forward to watching Prime Minister Netanyahu tomorrow. The time to reassert American leadership on the world stage and stand with our allies is now. With that,
Get
I
ready
turn
for
it
the
over
big
to our
game with
leader,
Spectrum.
Steve Scott.
Bring your entire family together for the best seamless
Thank you,
TV
Whip.
viewing experience.
Good morning
Watch
to all
all
of
the
you.
sports and entertainment you
Since
love
Donald
with the
Trump
fastest,
took
most
the oath of
reliable
office on
internet.
January
With the touch of a
20th,
button, Spectrum
you've seen
puts
the
you at the
president
center of
work at a
every play.
feverish
Switch to
pace
Spectrum
deliver
Internet Advantage
on
today.
the promises that he made to the American people, to start fixing the problems that were created during 4 years of a failed Biden-Harris agenda. You saw President Trump take action to secure America's border, probably the front and center issue of the campaign. And we're already seeing dramatic results for the American people. You see President Trump work to open up more American energy, lower costs for families. You've seen him work to get cost savings from federal agencies so that American taxpayer dollars are not wasted in so many areas. Go ask USAID how that's working out for them when they have to now be exposed to the fact that they were funding to the tune of millions of dollars drag shows in foreign countries with Americans' hard-earned tax dollars. You're going to continue to see that level of scrutiny and that level of efficiency to get government working for the people again. And so President Trump has continued to work not only in the executive branch, but working with the legislative branch, working with us here in Congress Just a few days ago, President Trump signed the Laken Riley Act, one of the first bills we moved out of the House, because it was a bill that also fit not only with our agenda. We passed this bill last year. Chuck Schumer made it clear he didn't want to bring a bill to the Senate floor that actually stood up for people so that they're not victims of violence from illegals. Well, this new Senate under John Thune, the Republican leadership, brought that same bill through the Senate and put it on President Trump's desk for his signing. This goes to show the American people how much difference it makes when you get leaders who actually will fight for them. What do we do? And the old guard, the progressive Democrat Party, so out of the American people. Today, President Trump is signing an executive order to do something that we already passed through the House, and that is to say that men can't play in women's sports. What do we do? Infant lives are under attack. What do we do? Trans lives are under attack. What do we do? Trans kids are under attack. What do we do? The rule of law is under attack. What do we do? Treasury is under attack. What do we do? Hopefully goes through the Senate so it can become law. So we're going to continue to work with this president to deliver on those promises. A lot of those promises that we're working to deliver on are going to go through the budget reconciliation process. And I know you guys are following that closely. We've been working very closely with our membership. We got into very specific detail at our retreat in Doral, where we shared with our members a lot of specifics of what the committees are working on. There are 11 committees of jurisdiction that are working on the details of budget reconciliation. Stand up, fight back! Stand up, fight back! All right, initially with a more narrow majority, unlike 2017, where we lost 22 Republicans on the budget. We don't have that luxury this time, and that means we've got to work very meticulously with our members to first make sure we have the votes to get a budget passed and not against opposing for opposing. And so we're working through a lot more detail on what reconciliation would look like on the front end before we actually get it passed. But we're working to get it done, and it's critical to get it done, to have more border security, to be able to deliver on better energy policy that lowers costs for families, to make sure there's no tax increase on working families across the country. So there are a lot of things that we're going to work to achieve and get done that will real savings for the taxpayers in this country. And then, of course, this week we're going to continue moving our agenda. Stop Fentanyl Act, you've heard about that. Monica Dela Cruz is on the front line. She told you what it means to a district like hers to have this kind of poison coming into our country. President Trump laid this out when he issued more tariffs, using that as a weapon to get countries to work with us better on stopping the fentanyl. And you're seeing some of those countries actually respond and do a better job of stopping it from coming into our country and killing so many young people. We're also bringing a bill to say that no future president can ban fracking, like we saw President Obama push, President Biden push. So many in the progressive left that want to kill American energy and hydraulic fracking produces about 2/3 of the natural gas we use, about half of the oil that we use in America. And so if you had a future president go down that road and try to kill the fracking industry, it would crush our ability to produce our own energy in America. And so we have a bill, obviously, the president today and Donald Trump who wants to produce more energy, but this would prevent the future president from being able to crush our energy industry. So hopefully we see a very strong vote there. And finally, as a native-born New Orleanian, I'd like to welcome all of you to New Orleans this weekend for the Super Bowl. We're proud to be welcoming the world. Of course, thank the NFL for the relationship we've had with them and Commissioner Goodell to bring yet another Super Bowl. This ties, I believe the Superdome will have the record for the most Super Bowls held in one arena, and we are proud to display what is, I think the city's never looked better, the Superdome has never looked better. We're also welcoming the President of the United States. And we will hopefully see a very spirited contest between the two teams, and I'm a Saints fan, so
a moose happening or something. I don't know. I want to start this morning by addressing a few things that I've heard this week. Shut down the city. We are at war. We're going to fight it in the streets. This is what the beginning of a dictatorship looks like. This is their reaction to the flurry of activity that's come out of the new administration, and the president is doing exactly what he said on the campaign. Would and he's delivered on that. A big part of that. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party truly is seemingly lost. Rather than vision, the only message they have is anti-President Trump. We've all seen that's a failed strategy. And it's not just rhetoric. This week, Democratic leadership sent letters to members that the media characterizes as a war plan. President Trump. In the letter, the Democrats put out the foundation for a government shutdown. That's their plan. Stop Trump. And the question we're all asking is it because President Trump is working to bring more oversight to USAID?
For the ones ensuring the job always gets done, and the ones wearing many hats, Grainger offers professional-grade industrial supplies and real-time product availability. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Stop the coup! 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 Remember, they're the ones that are apoplectic about stop the coup! But because President Trump is doing exactly what he said he would do, they've changed their tune, and I think you all will be asking them to change part of the it's just when President Trump said he would unleash American energy dominance and reduce the size of the government, deport dangerous illegal aliens, and make American communities safer, he meant what he said. That's what you're saying. He made campaign promises, and now he's moving at a quick pace to deliver on. As I said in an interview yesterday morning, was that demonstrably President Trump has now more for the American people in his first 2 weeks than his predecessor did in all 4 years. And that's what we can do. And in Congress, we're going to work, and we are working by that American First agenda for legislative action. You heard two examples of that here that we're doing this week is continuing our efforts to protect American communities on the fall fentanyl, which would permanently schedule fentanyl and all fentanyl-related substances to Schedule 1 narcotics. Why is that important? Because it empowers law enforcement to seize those drugs and go after their producers and distributors to stop the flow. This is unspeakable tragedy that's now gone on for over 4 years. We have more than 200 Americans lose their lives every single day on average to fentanyl. And it's a crisis that demands our immediate action, and that's what the president is doing. The Halt Fentanyl Act builds on President Trump's efforts from earlier this week to secure southern and northern to keep illicit drugs out. Republicans are taking decisive, immediate action to rid American communities of this poison. Elections have sometimes very positive consequences. Meanwhile, we're also protecting American energy dominance and protecting the American Energy Production Act. Because President Biden and his administration clearly waged a war on American-made energy, particularly oil and gas producers, and we're going to make sure this doesn't happen. So we pass this legislation, the future administration will be able to put on fracking, which produces so much of the energy in this country that has to be protected. House Republicans are delivering on our promises, and there's a lot more to come. I'm sure you have some questions this morning, so we'll do that.
We want to make sure that the mother gets her security check. What do we want? Democracy! When do we want it? Now! Your neighbor gets their tax refund not because they pledged allegiance to the billionaire class.
Look, there'll be more details forthcoming. Of course, the yesterday, I think, was greeted by surprise. Cheers. People all around the world. That area is he's taking bold steps to try to ensure peace. It's a bold move, certainly. Far bolder than what's been done before, but I think we've got to stand unequivocally in an unwavering manner with Israel, our closest ally and friend in the Middle East. And I think if we could bring control of that situation, we could bring about lasting peace there. It would be well for everybody, not just in the region, but around the world. It's a volatile place. And I think the strong and decisive Israel took a step in that regard. As was noted earlier, Prime Minister Netanyahu being the first international leader to meet with the President of the White House is more than symbolism, but it is. And it shows the world that we're not going to equivocate. The previous administration did that. They tried to appease Iran and by extension its proxies, terrorists, and they frankly encumbered Israel in so many times. You're seeing a reversal of that now. That's a very important development. I think our allies around the world appreciate that. I know because I've talked to lots of leaders around the world, and they've been very nervous about the instability there. I think this could be a big step in that regard. So let's withhold judgment on all of it. We'll see more developments as they come.
We want truth! 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 We want truth!
So here's the thing on the federal department. It's been a discussion point and a priority for our party for a long time. See, we believe in the core principle that education is best handled by the people closest to the kids. What does that mean? It means local school districts, local school boards. It means at the state level rather than the federal level. We think you empower parents when you do that. You give them more choice in that. So that's why we're advocates for school choice. That's why we're advocates for charter schools and innovative ideas. And I think you can return American education to a place of prominence and success if you allow those things to happen. The teachers' unions will viciously fight, of course, any idea of disbanding the federal Department of Education. But I think the principle is one that is, the time is coming. We've all seen it. The U.S. is falling behind other countries because the system is not working. So President Trump ran for president. We ran to hold the majority here. We assured the people that we would make big, bold decisions to change things. And I think that is an idea whose time has come. And again, you know, like everything else, we've got to wait for more details to be laid out. But you're going to see a lot of support among House and I think Senate Republicans for the general idea of pushing the decisions down, back down to the local level. I think that's something that would serve us all well.
That is not a prerequisite in this arena.
Has grabbed
Yesterday, no, it was Monday. That's right, it was Monday. When I first found out about this,
I look forward to meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu. There's a lot to discuss. I've been a very close ally of his, and to be frank, for the last 4 years, I think I was probably the highest ranked member of the federal government who was unequivocally supporting Israel and the Prime Minister. So we'll have that discussion. I mean, he obviously is much more on the issue than I do. But as I said earlier, we await further details on what exactly that looks like. This is a bold, decisive move, and I think you have to do something to eradicate Israel. Here's the problem. If you leave Gaza in its current form, there's always a risk of another October 7. There's always a risk of proxies of Iran and these terrorist organizations whose stated goal is to eliminate Israel as a state. So it just makes sense to make the neighborhood there safer. I think that's logical. I think it follows common sense. I think
gotta stop pretending like we have to be responsible when we're fighting with children. Kick them in the nuts. Kick them in the fucking nuts. No, they're cowards, so they don't fucking have the balls to even have nuts. Maybe that's, I don't know. You can cancel me later. Anyway, fuck Donald Trump, fuck Elon Musk, and fuck this new tech world order. We kick them in the teeth. When they go low. We kick them in the teeth. When they go low. We kick them in the teeth. When they go low. We kick them in the teeth.
No, look, I got a challenge.
We kick them in the teeth.
I'm a fierce advocate, defender of Article 1. We are the legislative branch. There's a reason that Congress, the legislative branch, is the third article in the Constitution, and we're going to vigorously defend that. But what's happening right now, I think there's a gross overreaction in the media to what is happening. The executive branch of government has the right to evaluate how executive...
As you can see, the people in Washington, D.C. and across the country are extremely upset. They are calling for the Senate to be shut down and calling for the Senate to be shut down, and things like that. So let's see what really is going to happen. I mean, people are just upset. They don't like that Elon Musk has access to their financial records. They don't like that President Trump is moving so quickly and creating chaos around the world. He's almost created a trade war with our good partners to the north, Canada and Mexico. Mexico is obviously a country that we do a lot of trade with. There's a lot of manufacturing that goes down there. Of course, people are upset that manufacturing is happening in there, and they think that it could happen here in the United States. And the border is a huge issue with people crossing into the border and the fentanyl. But let's not lose sight of track. I mean, these are all of what is important. These are all things that can be taken care of if we just negotiate and talk with and help improve the countries around us. We have to help them because, they need some help doing things. Anyway, let's go really quickly to what Speaker Johnson, and he's holding a press conference right now in Washington, D.C., and let's see what he is saying to everybody. Okay, stand by 1 second.
$1 billion federal debt. It is a serious threat to the future and security of our nation. We got to spend money better. And if this executive branch and this White House is going to take the initiative to dig in and find those details and expose them, we applaud it. We're all on board. Thanks so much.
Thank you. You.
5 words you pronounce wrong 2 years before.
Okay, that was Speaker Johnson. We just had a brief moment to listen to him and to see what he had to say, and we'll come back to him in just a minute, or we'll come back to another thing. In the meantime, let's go into a press conference, or let's go into the live protest that's happening in Washington, D.C. about the Doge problem. And let's see if we can find something there and bring that up to date. It's an anti-Trump protest, and it's being held across America. And this is in New York. This is New York, and it may contain some graphic language. So stand by for that. 1 second, please.
I just want to point out something that everyone should be aware of. Representative Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader in the House, introduced a bill last night. It's called the Stop the Steal Act. React to everything that we know happened leading up to the election, on the day of the election, and what's been happening since the election. So if everyone can just quickly do a little chant of Stop the Steal, we want to show support for that act. We want to make sure that the press knows that we know that this election was stolen. Stop! Elon Musk set up his Skylink in 5 swing states, and over 3 million voters, mostly people of color, were not, and young people were knocked off of voting rolls all over this country. This election was stolen. It needs to be investigated. So we want to say, stop the steal! 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 That there is a ton of stuff coming up. We are going to be out in these streets every day.
Yes! Yes!
As it takes for our government to fucking stop this hell that these people have unleashed on our democracy,
Yes.
on our country, on our nation, on our people. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things that are happening. Okay, this Saturday, there's 2 separate actions. One in Brooklyn, one in Manhattan. So depending on where you live, you can make a choice. In Brooklyn, at 12 noon, across from Schumer's house, which is on Prospect Park, you can look it up. Everyone knows where it is. 12 o'clock, after his office demanding he shut down the Senate, that he shut down the approval policies that Trump has nominated to cabinet vote. Also, on Saturday, for members of my LGBTQIA2S plus community, in Union Square at 1 p.m., an action, Rise Up for Trans Youth. How our hospitals in New York City, how New York Presbyterian and NYU Langone, to the hospitals affiliated with the 2 largest universities, the 2 most highly regarded universities in our city, are now denying gender-affirming care to So that's this Saturday at 1 p.m. on the south end of Union Square. And then tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. at Schumer's office and Gillibrand's office on 3rd Avenue between 48th and 49th Street. There's going to be a standing protest. There was one today. There's going to be one tomorrow. If you can show up at 10 a.m. 3rd Avenue between 48th and 49th. And finally, I want to tell you on President's Day, not Dictator's Day, not Autocrat's Day, on President's Day, my group Rise and Resist, Rise and Resist is having an action also at 1 p.m. Monday, February 17th, President's Day, on the south end of Union Square. So please keep that in mind. We're going to say no to fascists. We're going to say no to dictators. So thank you for indulging me, and keep up the fight,
There's something else we need to focus on. This is not going to be a one-rally event. This is a long-haul fight. We are dealing with people who can one, their attitude is what democracy looks like. Who's going to stop us? This is what democracy looks like. The French used to have general strikes where the entire population would stay home. This is what democracy looks like. Nobody to answer these jerks phone calls. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. That'll stop them. Just be aware. This is a long fight. Let's check. Democracy looks like. Let's check. Let's check. Let's check. Let's check.
Hold on 1 second. By the way, do you mind if I bring a fucking permit to save democracy? Do you mind if I use an amplified speaker for democracy? I'm going to break a little permit right now. I hope you guys don't mind.
Just want to repeat what I said earlier. Power. They've got power. They've got money. They don't care what bills they pass. So think big. We have to have general strikes if need be. Repeatedly. General strikes, demonstrations. Sorry. I've been acting.
Hearing.
Sorry. We can't hear you out there.
Okay.
Sir, do you want to start general strike?
Yeah! We gotta start general strike!
Not for myself, but my colleague is
By all means, email your representative.
Sorry, I'm
Hearing.
Your representatives.
sorry, I'm trying to make it better.
Mic check!
Mic check! Mic check!
Mic check!
Mic check!
Mic check!
Mic check!
General strike!
General strike!
General strike!
General strike!
Know your rights!
Know your rights!
Know your rights!
Know your
You
rights!
have the right to remain silent!
You have the right to remain silent!
You have the right to remain silent!
You have the right to remain silent!
All New Yorkers have a right to an attorney!
All New Yorkers have a right to an attorney!
All New Yorkers have a right to an attorney!
All New Yorkers have a right to an attorney!
Undocumented New Yorkers have a right to an attorney!
Undocumented New Yorkers have a right to an attorney!
Undocumented workers have a right to remain silent!
Undocumented workers have a right to remain silent!
Do not open your door unless there's a judicial warrant!
Do not open your door unless there's a judicial warrant!
Do not open your door unless there's a judicial warrant!
Do not open your door unless there's a judicial warrant!
At work, staff areas are safe! At work, staff areas are safe!
At work, staff areas are safe!
ICE is not allowed in staff-only areas!
ICE is not allowed in staff-only areas!
Resist!
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 You have the right to remain silent!
You have the right to remain silent!
You have the right to an attorney!
You have the right to an attorney!
You don't open the door unless there's a judicial warrant!
You don't open the door unless there's a judicial warrant!
You don't know anyone's status!
Know anyone's status!
You don't know anyone's status!
You don't know anyone's status!
You were asked! You do not know anyone's status! If ICE comes, you resist!
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 We know our rights!
We know our
We
rights!
have the right to remain silent!
We have the right to remain silent!
We have the right to an attorney!
We have the right to an attorney!
We have the right to keep our doors shut!
We have the right to keep our doors shut!
Yes, stop the coup!
Stop the coup!
I really appreciate what the person before me laid out. I want to add something to that, though. We have these rights, and they are acting to take them away from us. ICE is already violating the law. They are racial profiling. They are demanding that people who look like they might be immigrants prove that they are legal. That is bullshit. That is bullshit, and we have to stand up against it. This isn't just a question for immigrants or people who look like immigrants. It's a question for everybody.
Check. So what we have here is we have protests happening all across the country. So far we've been in Washington, D.C., we've been in New York, and now we're going to go to, we are going to go over to Texas, I believe, where the Associated Press is, I think they're in Houston if I'm not mistaken. Let's see what happens here when we go there. Stand by 1 second. Okay. So that was a protest in Texas, and the protests continue across the United States. People are upset that President Trump has allowed Elon Musk and his tech bros and his 20-something team access to the Social Security information, the tax information, the welfare information, the student financial aid information of people across the country. It does seem like it is kind of ridiculous. Yes, I understand, and most people do, that President Trump has given Elon Musk special government employee access, but has he really been vetted? Does he even really have high top-level clearance within the government? I don't think so. I think that he has limited amount of access because of his ties with China. He does a lot of business in China. He does a lot of business in questionable countries across the world. So they have limited his access. So, but now, President Trump, in his infinite wisdom, has decided to go ahead and give Elon Musk and his employees access to your information, access to our information. And that is what is causing the problem. That is what has people up in arms and concerned that the United States is headed down the wrong path. Stand by, we're going to go to the anti-Trump protest in New York City.
I swear to God, we need every single fucking person you know. It can't just be the people who have always been interested in politics. If you were in debate club in high school, this is not about you. This is about all of us and every person you have ever known. This country, this is the movement of the people who dare, who still dare, that a government of the people, by the people, can still be for the people. Leave my neighbor alone. 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 Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Our streets! 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 We, the people, will never be defeated! 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 We, the people, will never be defeated. Thank you.
Everyone!
Through the power of the internet, we are able to bring you these live images, these live audio and video images of the protests that are currently happening across the United States. We're going to go now live to a cold and snowy Minneapolis, Minnesota, where the people there are standing outside in the cold and they are protesting, according to their signs, that the fascism that is happening in the United States of America. Stand by as we go to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Well, the audio in Minneapolis leaves something to be desired, and these people are just doing things at the grassroots level, and yes, they are trying, but sometimes we're unable to get the audio or the video to cooperate with everything that we need, and I myself am guilty of that. So stand by 1 second, and we will go back to New York City, where there's quite a bit of action, and we're hearing everything that is happening there. Stand by 1 second, and we'll bring you New York.
March this year, I gave it the opening for that. And this is exactly what these guys are talking about. So, this is a call and response. Repeat after me. I am still a A patriot. I still believe. In the U.S. Constitution. I am not defeated. For still I rise. For truth. For justice. For equality. For diversity. For equity. For inclusion. For love. For respect. And for all our siblings. For all our children. For all of humanity. I will resist. The rising tide. Of misogyny. Of anti-black hatred. Of anti-brown hatred. Of anti-queer hatred. Of anti-trans hatred. Of anti-immigrant hatred. Of religious hatred. Of Christian nationalism. Of authoritarianism. Of oligarchy. Of fascism. I am the resistance. We are the resistance. We are the resistance. We are the resistance. Thank you.
So far, we brought you live coverage from Washington, D.C., New York City, Texas, and now we are going to go to Philadelphia, where people are marching on the streets, and they are taking issue with everything that's happening in the United States. And you can see there that it's cold, and people are out braving the elements, standing up for their democracy, and standing up for their rights, and voicing their opinion, which is every right that every American citizen has. So stand by as we go live to Philadelphia. Well, the images that are coming out of Philadelphia are indeed dramatic, and you can see that people are walking through the streets and they are voicing their opinion. A lot of action seems to be going on in New York City. There is a camera that is in the crowd, and the camera is talking with various people, or the cameraman and the reporter are talking with various people as they go through the crowd. And let's see what is going on over there in New York. Stand by 1 second as we go to New York City.
I'm sure this happens. But this is
You need to put your backpack down and you can.
No, that's okay.
Check. So here we are live again from the studio in Santa Monica, and the protests continue. And we are going to go live to Washington, D.C., outside of the Capitol. Not too far from where the people did their thing on January 6th several years ago. So stand by as we go live to the protest at the Capitol building in Washington, D.C.
Our world a better place. From providing life-saving medicine to utilizing technology to detect famines before they start, to countering corruption, conflict, and terrorism abroad, USAID projects play an integral part of America's foreign policy objectives. And we do all of this with less than 1% of the national budget. I have been so incredibly proud of the work that I and my teams have accomplished working on USAID programs, and I am honored to use my voice today to support USAID. We are so lucky to live in a country where the government was created for the people, by the people. And I will not be silenced, you will not be silenced, so let me hear you. cheer for him.
Thank you, Isabel. Thank all of you for coming. I'm proud to represent the great state of Maryland, United States. So first, let's give it up for Isabel and all the patriotic Americans who helped organize this rally. And I want to hear it loud and clear. Hey, hey! Hey, hey! Ho, Elon Musk has got to go because this... Ho, ho! Elon Musk has got to go. Ho, ho! Elon Musk has got to go. Because this is about taking back our country and doing it now. Make no mistake about it. Elon Musk's effort to dismantle the Agency for International Development is a gift to China, it's a gift to Russia, it's a gift to our adversaries around the world. Putin's cronies immediately put on X, quote, smart move by Elon Musk, end quote. So this is not America first, this is America in retreat, and we are not going to retreat from American values. So it has nothing to do with government efficiency and everything to do with something that's going to harm our national interests. In fact, if you talk to American military leaders, they will tell you that AID is an essential and cost-effective part of our overall foreign policy and national security strategy, because AID makes us safer here as we save lives around the world. AID helps make us safer by providing greater stability in very combustible parts of the world. AID supports our values by helping democracy movements around the world. And AID fights disease around the world, which not only saves lives around the globe, but helps prevent them from spreading and killing Americans right here in the United States of America. So, getting rid of AID makes us all less safe. It is also downright illegal. You know, I looked at the Constitution again the other day, and it's pretty clear that presidents are not kings. They don't get to decide to cherry pick the law. This is not like a la carte. The law is the law, and President Trump needs to obey all parts of that law. And Elon Musk, he may get to be a dictator at Tesla, and he is trying to play dictator here in our nation's capital, but he does not get to ignore the law, and we need to shut down the Musk operation. Now, some courts have already put a hold. They have temporary restraining orders on some of the other illegal actions taken by the Trump administration, like freezing important resources that flow to communities and very important priorities in our communities. And I am confident that we will also see the courts put an end to this illegal action with respect to AID. And make no mistake, what's happening in AID is just a test case. It's just a test case for what they want to do throughout the government, which is they want billionaires to take over the process. And so you're right, we should have no business as usual in the United States Congress. And Senator Schatz and I have said no Trump appointees to the State Department if they don't reopen AID. So this is part of a much bigger plan, make no mistake, it's part of a bigger plan to replace hardworking federal employees who are sworn to uphold the Constitution, to replace them with Trump political cronies. And the end game that they want to secure is once they get the keys to government, They do want to provide huge tax breaks and big giveaways to the wealthiest in America at the expense of everybody else in America. Are we going to let that happen? No! Hell no. So I will end with this. We are witnessing in real time the most corrupt bargain in American history. Elon Musk contributed, paid over $250 million to help elect Donald Trump. And now Donald Trump is turning over the keys to the Treasury and the rest of the federal government to Elon Musk. We need to end this illegal power grab, and we are going to do it now. We are not going back. Thank you all for being here. And now let me turn it over to one of my great colleagues.
First of all, any Virginians in the House? So Chris, thank you. We were just at banking 10 minutes ago because we're talking about the fact that America's reputation is based upon rule of law. It's based upon the ideas that nobody's above the law. And we all ought to be concerned. There's banking community that you've got folks we don't know anything about looking at potentially all of our personal information, all of the money flows that go out of Treasury. The banking committee needs to bring up the Doge folks who are illegally in Treasury and have them testify. So, you know, I'm really proud of my activities on the Intelligence Committee, and Tim's on the Armed Services Committee. The national security of America is not simply based upon who's got the most tanks and guns. It is based upon our reputation. It is based upon the great work that AIT does. We've got to make sure, and Tim has said this more eloquently, whether it is the folks who've been furloughed or the people who are taking potentially Trump's illegal buyout offer, which there is no funding for at all, to think twice. We've got to make sure we get the AIT workers back, get AIT reopened, because as Chris said, where this is being celebrated right now is Beijing. It's Beijing. And until we can end up not letting China into this spot, we're making America less strong. And look at who we are voting against and standing up against. Tim, take it.
Okay, do you guys want to hear what we're doing to stop this? Right? There's a litigation strategy, a state court strategy, a legislative strategy in Congress, and a political strategy, right? So let us start with the fact. Let us start with the litigation strategy. You have seen us succeed in numerous court cases in the last few days, and we're going to win a whole lot more court cases. There is a coordinated effort that we are all involved with, 5 different kinds of lawsuits against this administration that we're very engaged in, and here are the 5. Suits to protect federal employees, including USAID employees. Suits to protect fundamental constitutional rights like birthright citizenship. Suits to protect the power of the purse. Monies allocated by Congress cannot be stolen by a president. They have to be used in the way they were allocated. Suits to stop private parties from rampaging through federal agencies, private parties like Elon Musk. I called him Elon Trump, I'm sorry. Freudian slip. Finally, suits to stop mass deportation and unfair treatment of people based upon where they are come from. These are going on right now because of these members of Congress and organizations around this country, and Donald Trump is going to get tired of us winning so many of these lawsuits. That's number 1. Number 2, in states with Democratic governors, you see Democratic legislatures and governors standing up against these unlawful actions. In Virginia, we have a Republican governor who won't stand up. And guess what? We've got 2 Democratic houses in Virginia, and those houses are standing up. So reach out to your state legislatures and tell them they can help in this too, and they are. Third is in Congress. We've got both legislative opportunities, nominations, but in the next 6 weeks, there is a budget battle in Congress, and Democrats will use our tools in that budget battle to stand up and make sure we get this stuff stopped as part of getting a budget done between now and the 14th of March. Finally, the Republicans are going to put a bill on the table to give tax breaks to the wealthiest. Why are they wanting to shut down USAID? It's not that they really oppose the mission. They're grabbing money. They want to grab money from forcing federal employees to retire and shrinking the federal workforce. They want to grab money by not giving grants to organizations like the Child Fund, headquartered in Richmond, that's been doing international aid work for more than a century. Why do they want to grab the money? They want to put tariffs on products from other countries, which are taxes on everyday Americans for the goods that they buy. They're grabbing the money so that when they put a tax bill on the table in the next 6 weeks, they can give it all away to Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and other rich folks, and we will not let them do that. These are battles that are happening right now. We have a coordinated strategy, but I've left out the last piece, the political one. We are where we are because we lost the presidential election and we lost 2 houses in November. We have a lot more tools in majority than we do in minority. I'm very happy in Virginia because the first big race that's going to show America what it thinks about a new Trump term is the governor's race in Virginia in November. If you are here and you're a Virginian, in that opening round, let's show the American public a right direction to counter the wrong direction. So for those of you who say you want something done, I'll go back to it. States, courts, Congress, politics, we need it all. Thanks.
Let me just add, you're going to see us do our job. And here's what I ask you. Don't just show up here. Don't just show up here. They're not choosing. I'm with community health centers today in Virginia. They're getting shut down in red parts of the state and blue parts of the state. If you don't show up at your local elected officials, at your state legislators, we're only going to break this when we have Republicans willing to stand up as well. Put the pressure not just on us, but on everyone, every elected official level. That's the only way we're going to win this. Thank you.
I'm Congressman John Garamendi. 60 years ago in Ethiopia, my wife and I were involved in putting an end to smallpox all across this nation. All these years, all these decades, USAID, the American government, working through USAID, has been out there. And who the hell does Musk think he is? He has absolutely no right in shutting down USAID. We cannot allow that. We've got to take to the streets. We've got to take to the rallies. We've got to fight back, and we must resist every motion, every action by Musk and Trump to shut down this government. You have to do that. You're here today. You've got to be on the streets tomorrow. Know this, that in the Congress, we must equally resist what is happening. We cannot let it go on. We must resist. We must be in the streets. We must take every possible action to stop what is happening. Musk has no right, cannot have the information from the Treasury, cannot have it. The Department of Education is next, the Department of Labor. Resistance all across this nation. We must not let it happen. Right now, we know that across the world, USAID employees are brought back. We know that the programs are being shut down. Don't let it happen. Resist at every motion. And for those of us in Congress, it is no and hell no. If you expect our help, then this has to stop. Let me introduce my colleagues in Congress.
Bill Keating from Massachusetts. I want to tell you this. For those of you that are here, that are workers, that have worked for the State Department, that have worked for USAID, I want to thank you for your work. You're making our country strong, and I want to tell you, you have a great future.
the statutes, breaking the Constitution, and we're not going to let him do it. You're not going to let him do it. Because we must win. As he floods the zone, we must stand up. Thank you for being here. Let's keep the fight. It's just the beginning.
Do your job. Do your job.
I'm Congressman Gregory Meeks from the state of New York and the ranking member. And I'm here today first to say thank you to the hard-working men and women of USAID. They are heroes. They are sheroes. They are working Americans who have taken an oath not to a king but to a country. They are the people that put their families at risk to make sure that we are helping people around the world so that we can also stay safe here at home. They are people who are real patriots. They stand alongside our military and others to make sure that the world knows who we are as Americans and that we care. They are the individuals who fight to make sure that when we work in collective together, that we will get rid of HIV and AIDS with PEPFAR. They are the individuals to make sure that polio does not last and continue and go around the world. They are the ones that are fighting to make sure that Ebola is not in Africa, is not in the United States, or no place around the world. They are the ones that are making sure that people eat and know how to grow farms and agriculture for families so that they can live and have a better resources. They are the ones that should be awarded and taken care of and thought of and not closing down 93 missions around the world, because when we do that, who benefits? I'll tell you who benefits. When we close down those 93 missions around the world, I'll tell you who benefits. China benefits. Russia benefits. Those that don't mean us well benefits. Our national security is hurt. This is a national security interest to keep us safe at home as well as we do and take care and defend democracy around the world. So this isn't some ivory tower debate about how government operates. This is about mothers giving birth to children infected with HIV because we cut off their medicine. It's about children starving as famine spreads. So let me conclude just say to the staff of USAID and its implementing partners who carry out these critical programs. You deserve better. You are the backbone of American soft power abroad. You deserve something more than illegal shock and wave tactics to close the agency and that malign your good work. Indeed, America now is less safe than it was a week ago. And without soft power, there is only hard power. And we know that only brings war and more suffering. We know that instability around the world will only deepen when we're not there to help. How long before the fire spreads in our own backyard? How long if we get rid of? Dr. King would say, how long? Not long. That's why we gotta stand. That's why we gotta fight. That's why we gotta stay together for the goodness of the American people and the goodness that we spread around the world. I proudly wear the hat, USAID.
In your company. I really appreciate all of you
Of the world. We are a democracy that people look up to. That building, that statue of freedom is the most famous building in the world. And there's a reason, because in every village in the world, in every hut in the world, they know that the United States stands for freedom and liberty. And that building is a symbol to all of them of what they and their countries should aspire to. When I went to Liberia, USAID was there to help with Ebola. When I went to Cape Verde, USAID was there to help with Zika. When I went to Nigeria, USAID was there to help with malaria. Yes, to help those people, but to prevent the spread of those diseases around the world. In order to make sure that we are providing that protection. That is who all of you are. That is what USAID represents, the best of our country, the best of who we are, the best of what we have to as a nation. Elon Musk and Donald our country stands.
So here we are again. As you can see, the protests continue across the country, across the nation. And we are going to go live now back to New York City while I fumble through the internet and try to find different protests that are happening across the country. Stand by as we go to New York City live.
Or lose them.
Losing or losing me!
Or losing them. It less reflects our power. I'm with the Freedom Socialist Party. We're just one of so many groups that need to unite in a united front. We're going to be protesting at Foley Square next Saturday. Come back. This Sunday we're doing an organizing meeting. Please come up. Scan this little QR code. Form coalitions. Get your unions in the streets. Flex our power as a working class and fucking overturn this system and Donald Trump and Elon Musk and all of these corrupt cronies that got to fucking go!
Let's bring us something to say!
Hey, so we have some people running for mayor this year! Yeah. Now is the time to know your candidates and start supporting them! Personally, I like Dorinda Body! But either way, our current mayor, who is trying so fucking hard to be Trump's side piece, Eric Adams, has got to go! Eric Adams has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Eric Adams has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Eric Adams has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Eric Adams has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Eric Adams has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Eric Adams has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Eric Adams has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Eric Adams has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Eric Adams has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Eric Adams has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Eric Adams has got to go! Get it.
Hey, I got something to say. Again, I'm not going to shut up. Anybody here wants to say something, you should be up here. But there is something I want to say. How the hell did MAGA do it? You know what they did? They were offline. They got together and they did some shit. What rights were they fighting? No. Who are we? We're fighting for actual rights. So what do you think we can do? Overturn that shit. They can do it. We can do it better. We got something to fight for. And I encourage every one of you that has something to say to come up here. I will support you. Everyone here is to support you. We are a community. Get up here and say
a joke. Yeah. And as a woman, I am terrified that something's going to happen to me, that some man may take advantage of me, or even not. I will consent to something, and yet I will end up pregnant, and I'll be stuck with a child, without the resources to take care of it, without the mental capacity, without the money. I don't want a child. What if at 15 I end up with a child, and I can't get an abortion? How am I supposed to take care of it? At 15! I'm so mad that Trump and Musk and everyone in that fucking government running this fucking country. Because also, I'm scared and terrified for this entire country, but for people that I care about, and just anyone that's an immigrant, or has immigrant family members, or even isn't an immigrant, is a citizen. They're trying to take them out of this country. It is stolen land. No one is illegal. A stolen land. As a 15-year-old, if I can come up here and say all of this, all of you need to continue fighting. We need to fight for our rights. We need to fight as hard as we can. We cannot give up. Don't give up. They're trying to terrify us. They're trying to make sure that we don't stand up, that we don't fight, that we stay hidden, and that we just give up. But we can't, because if we do that, we lose, and we cannot lose. That's right. Fuck Elon! Fuck the U.S. government! Fight for your rights! Don't stay quiet! Thank you! Hands off our bodies! 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 Free education! 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 Healthcare for all! 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 My check! Healthcare for all! My check! My check! My check! My check! A week ago, I lost my job when Trump hit me. My check! My check! My check! When I lose my job, I lost my career. Not only did I lose my career, but the world has lost HIV drugs, humanitarian assistance, democracy support, economic development support. Meanwhile, Trump wants to take over Gaza. So, protect our Constitution, protect our agencies, keep it up. Call your senators, call your representatives. Yeah. Call your reps. I want to say something because I'm tired of being considered a voiceless
child if you are undocumented. Please make sure that ICE agents have a warrant with a judge's signature and your name on it. Yes, keep the doors closed. Yes, and ask for it through the window or through your door. It is incredibly important. Protect your rights, exercise your rights because you have them even if you are undocumented. Second of all, I want to remind everyone that what our enemies want, or actually I should say our colleagues because hopefully they'll see the light one day. What they want is they want our spirits down. Of course our spirits are up right now. But I want to remind everyone to find joy in their life. That's the opposite. About. Meet people here and organize. Find joy in the little things. It's going to carry us through this next 4 years. I believe in all of
I would like to say something as well. I am tired of hearing so many people say that they don't care, that Trump's administration will not affect them, as either straight white men, it will not affect them. Who was just talking about the Department of Ed, it dawned to me, 10, 15 years from now, I would not be standing here if I had not have had an 8th grade history professor teach me about imperialism. I would not be standing here if so many of my friends were birthright citizens. Trump is trying to undermine the 14th Amendment. What's next? Due process? The Equal Protection Clause? What is next? Think to yourself, what is next? Because soon this will affect all of us. That's right. And our children will be living in a world that looks like fucking cyberpunk. We cannot have that. And the one beautiful thing is, look at everybody around you. Look at this diversity. Look at the love. Look at the kindness. That's what we have to stand for. We have to stand for the people standing next to us and the people are standing up. Because we cannot allow meritocracy. We cannot allow mediocrity. We cannot allow ourselves to be centrist. We must stand forward. We must stand forward for human rights and equal rights for all.
Because I'm a disabled person. My name is Tyler. I'm a Puerto Rican Muslim woman, and I'm married to a Jewish person who is also in the LGBT. I have LGBTs. There's him. I want you to know, don't give up. We will make this country better when we all stand together. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I love you guys. Yes, damn straight. I saw you earlier. Thank you guys.
United will never be defeated. The people 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 united will never never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated.
We cannot let history repeat itself. Right now they are rounding up immigrants to deport them back to Mexico. 2 planes has tried to, but the Mexican government said no. They are trying to turn Guantanamo Bay into a concentration camp. The last time in history this has happened was in Nazi Germany when they tried to deport Jews to South Africa. They said no, so they put them into ghettos. And then after the ghettos were concentration camps. We all know what happens after that. We cannot let our immigrants, brothers and sisters, follow the same fate. We must defend them. Say no to
because RFK Jr. flip-flopped. He was pro-abortion his whole campaign and flip-flopped once he was in Trump's pocket. That's right. Medicaid, Medicare, all of this is at risk. Our basic health care freedoms, which are limited as they are all at risk. It's disgusting, it's embarrassing, and it's terrifying, so stand up! Introverts around here. But I'm here. We all need to stand up and we have to fight every single day. I've never been more angry in my entire life. Me my whole future is on fucking hold because of a couple of assholes. Okay, climate change, all of it's being, we're back in the 30s. Everything, like that should be the #1 threat. Everything that we're saying today matters. There's so many issues right now. But remember, your dollars fucking matter. Don't give them a fucking penny. Target. Okay? No Target. None of these fucking assholes going back on DEI. Don't buy anything from them. No Amazon. None of it.
Boycott Amazon! Boycott Amazon!
Shop small and find the few like Costco that are like literally doing fuck all for our rights. Okay? You have to keep researching. Do not rely on lists. You have to independently research, okay? Just keep fighting every single day, guys. Every day!
Money is power, and we got the money.
Take it away.
We got it.
No more oligarchy. No more. We put them where they are. We put them up here. Fucking Zuckerberg, Elon. Stop using their fucking platform. My grandfather escaped Nazi Germany.
My check.
If he were alive today, he would be devastated. He fought for this country. Yes. And now we're fucking dealing with Nazis again? Unbelievable. You know what? I'm glad he's dead. Because I would not want him to see this. I would not want my grandmother to see this. I would not want any of my great-grandparents to see this. Shame. It's a shame. It's a goddamn shame. Why can't people stop the hate? That's right. Ridiculous. Glad I'm here though. Fuck Nazis! 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 strength.
Yes.
Remember how New York City was founded. And remember that Marsha P. Johnson, a black trans woman, threw that first brick. Trans people are people. Are human rights. Especially black trans women who have a life expectancy of 35. Protect trans people.
Hello everybody. I just want to say that there are multiple facets to our resistance. One of which is coming out and doing this, and we need to keep doing this. Another is finding organizations that are already doing the work that we can contribute to. I'm really late to the game. I've been wanting to find that group for a long time. I don't know if I found the right one for me yet, but I just joined the Democratic Socialists of America. The DSA party in New York is the strongest in the nation. We're doing a lot of great work. I'm not trying to proselytize or tell you to join, but find whichever group is right for you and join. Because people are doing the work and it's already set up for you. And then you just pick which avenue you want to take action with. And there are many avenues to take action, as we've been discussing. So for me, it might be affordable housing or whatever it is. There's too many fights. So we each need to choose which one you can do that feels right in your heart and that's already accessible for you to just jump in line and participate. And someone said this earlier too, that we got to keep finding joy as well. We gotta fight every day, but fucking joy is resistance as well. So don't take in news at 1 a.m. like I did the other night and had nightmares. Try to limit the blocks of time that you take in the content, and then the rest of your time use it towards action and joy.
The People's Forum is another one. It's called the People's Forum. Look it up. Good.
I just want to take a moment to think about how this is happening all across the country. In every state, this is happening. It's never happened before, and I know some of you might have had doubts when you heard about this, like, who started this? Is this a trap? But you all are here. We made this happen. It doesn't matter who started it. This is our movement now. Stay connected and keep this a national effort. Stay on r/50501. See what's going on in every single other state. And just remember that we are all in this together.
I don't know. Hi. My name's Andrea. I'm an old member of ACT UP from the 80s. And so I've been doing this work a really long time, and it's really beautiful to see everybody here. It's very sad that this is happening again in this country. But I wanted to say a couple of things, having been to so many of these events over my lifetime. And that is, well, a couple of things. It is no accident that the Trump organization the Trump Corporation has gone after funding for NGOs before anything else, because NGOs have traditionally been the nexus for organizing in times of crisis.
Yes.
So we are going to have to not lean on them in the ways that we have. We are going to have to rely on ourselves. Woo! And we are going to have to make sure that we give whatever skills we have as activists to each other. We are going to have to teach each other. We are going to have to train each other. We're going to have to train each other in civil disobedience. If you don't know how to do civil disobedience, you need to know how to do that safely. If you don't know how to marshal, you need how to learn how to do that safely. So if you have those skills through whatever organizations you start to form, lend those services and make yourselves available online. If you know how to do those things, tell other people. And those skills will spread through your own hubs. Make your own affinity groups. If you don't know what an affinity group is, it's just a group of people that you learn to love and trust, and you work together to form actions. And you work in cells so you stay safe, and you form larger groups to do bigger demonstrations. But it's very, very important. If you go to the ACT UP website, there is still an old manual online that has all of this information. There are other organizations that have this information that is more updated in terms of law, but it's a very good place to start. Do your reading, do your research so that you are knowledgeable about yourselves and the people you are involved with when you do this stuff. Especially now, this stuff is no joke. And if you want to keep, especially for people who are undocumented, who participate in these events, you need to keep them safe. You are only as safe and as strong as the most vulnerable member of the person you are with. The other thing that was always important at the end of a rally was to go away, yes, with the next rally or event that was coming up, but also with a to-do list, with a thing for each person in the group, each person who was attending, to go away with, to feel empowered to do, to take action, to make something happen. And in this case, yes, call your representatives, whatever their affiliation, tell them you're angry, but I've worked in government. If you tie up their phone lines, it makes them bananas. So don't email them, don't send them a text, don't get mad on social media, get on the phone. Show up at their office. Is a piece of shit. He's worthless at his job. He has been collaborating and bending the knee before Trump since the first administration. The first words out of his mouth were, "How our job?" And that is not what we need to of the Democratic caucus. Where's Schumer's office? His office, I don't know where it is. I haven't been there in a while. He has a legislative office, and he has a couple of different offices.
There's people there right now.
Yeah, there are people there now. He also has a home, which I visited. But tie up his phone lines, tie up his fax lines. You will be surprised to hear they still have a fax. That also makes us great. Yes. But they are very old school. Call them again. Keep calling him. Keep calling his office and tell them that you will not rest until he stops cooperating. Tell them to use every lever of power that they have to stop cooperating.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Now, so those are the words. So Get on the phone. Get on the phone. Do it every day. When you have your cup of coffee in the morning, get on the phone. Listen to you taking a shit. When you take a little rest in the afternoon, get on the phone. It takes 5 minutes, and it will be the most important thing you can do.
Our representatives work for us.
And tell your friends. You have to multiply your action. So make sure when you go home, get in touch with 10 friends. They may not enjoy it, but make sure that for every person here, 10 other people are doing the same thing.
Thank you very much for joining us as we continue our coverage of what's happening around the world and here in the United States. We are going to go live. This is Net News TV. I'm Don Hughes, netnews.tv. You can join us if you're interested in sending us information. You can go to the Citizen Journalists Project. It's a project that we have that enables people like yourself to gather material, audio and video material, and send to us, and we can use it in the broadcast. And if you want to be a citizen, just go to www.hmgi.tv/CPJ. That stands for Citizen Journalism Project. CJP, right? www.hmgi.tv/CJP for the Citizen Journalist Project. Stand by and we'll go live to Texas, where they continue to talk about and to protest about what is happening here in the United States. Stand by.
All stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Bear with me 1 second while I get the audio situated here in the United States. Let me get the audio taken care of, and we will make sure that we have the best audio for you that you need. Okay, stand by. Here we go. We'll go back over to that live protest in Texas.
Oh, hello. Yeah, you can hear me now, yeah? Ho, ho! Elon Musk has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Elon Musk has got to go! Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming out today. Try not to block the street, please, if you can. I'm Ronna Epting. I'm with Move On. And on behalf of our millions of members that are in...
So that was our live feed coming in from Texas, and as you know, I'm based over here in Southern California. So something that's a little closer to home is the feed that is coming to you from Sacramento. Sacramento is the state capital of California, and everybody knows that President Trump has a soft spot in his heart for California and all Californians, and especially recall that he was here recently, only 3 or 4 days after he assumed the office, to meet with Mayor Karen Bass of Los Angeles and some of the leaders in the Pacific Palisades after we had that horrendous fire, both in Pasadena, Eaton, Pasadena area, and in the Pacific Palisades. Billions of dollars of damage. And Trump was a little bit combative with Mayor Bass over that. And also he met with Governor Gavin Newsom on that day as well to talk about the things that they would do. But let's go live to the live feed that is coming into us from Sacramento, California, the state capital of California. Stand by 1 second, I'll bring that to you.
What I say when our rights are under attack? Stand up, fight back! We're under attack! Stand up, fight back! Stand up, fight back! Trans rights are under attack! Stand up, fight back! What I say? Stand up, fight back! Fight back! Stand up, 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 fight back! Stand up!
Oh, hey, look.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the live feed that is coming into you from California, and so there's quite a bit of action happening today, as you can tell. A lot of action happening today, and we're going to go back to New York City, and let's see what is happening over there, and see if there's anything that is still going on with the protest over there in New York. Stand by just 1 second as I bring you that live feed from New York City. And then we'll go back over to Texas, and then we'll head back over to our friends in Sacramento, and we'll just continue to trip around the country and see what's going on in this great nation of ours, where people are voicing their opinions and voicing their anger with what's happening in the country. Stand by 1 second. So that feed that was coming into us from New York just went dark for a second. They're using what's called a live view or TVU, and that is bonded cellular technology. And the more people that are in the area, the less stable the signal is. So it looks like further live coverage is expected to come in off of that feed, but at the moment there's nothing happening there. So stand by, and I will bring you some information, and I'll switch over to our feed that is coming into us live from our friends in Texas via the Associated Press. Stand by 1 second.
Elon Musk and corporations, not our fellow working people. I'll end by saying this. We might have a few less seats in Congress, but we're not going to be the minority. We're going to be the opposition. We're not going to allow them to steal from our people, from working class people. And we will fight, we will provide oversight, and we will win. Let's go!
Let's give it up for Representative Frost. Next up, we have the wonderful Representative Jasmine Crockett from Texas.
I'm gonna try my best not to preach. I just want to say thank you, because every day that we show up in DC, we show up for you. We know who we work for. We know that we work for the American people. What we're not gonna do is stand around with
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. This is Don over at netnews.tv. And as you can see, the anger and the frustration after only approximately 3 weeks of President Trump being in the office is very real. People are tired of it. They're concerned about their livelihoods. They're concerned about their rights. They're concerned about their finances. And people don't really understand why somebody like Elon Musk, a private citizen, although he has been designated a person with a special government employee, he's been designated as a special government employee and given unheard of, almost unlimited access to your information. That's what people are upset with. And they just want answers. And of course, people want to do better things. They want to have a better life. And those are things that are guaranteed to us: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But they're tired of the chaos that Trump brings to the situation. And they're tired of Project 2025. Recall that when President Trump was candidate Trump for the third time, he said that he had never read, and he really said that he didn't really know anything about Project 2025. But the reality is that he seems to be following it to the letter. And Project 2025, the Urban League has said that it is the new Southern Manifesto, and it is going to take us back to a time when people didn't have rights, a time when you couldn't marry who you wanted to, a time when people were segregated and racism ruled the land. Now, you may not agree with everything that is outlined in DEI, and maybe the Democrats push a little bit too hard, a little too quickly. But I think we can all agree that everybody should have equal access to opportunities, education, employment, and healthcare, food, and opportunities to have fair housing. That's all people really want. They just want equal opportunities. And I think people are very upset with the Trump government because they see a lot of their rights being taken away from them. And we probably should have a conversation about how to make equality fair for everybody. Okay, stand by. We're going to bring you some images coming from Sacramento, the state capital of California.
Senator, the people united will never be divided. Senator, the people united. Is that our senator? Stand up!
So that was our feed that was coming in live from Sacramento, California, and it has been a very interesting day. The overwhelming message is that people believe that Elon Musk should not be involved in the United States government. They don't really understand why he's involved and what he's doing at the government. It seems like there's quite a bit of change that is happening because of Elon Musk. Now, maybe it's possible that J.D. Vance and his tech bros, Peter Thiel and the Lonsdales and those people brought Elon Musk in, but the people are very tired of it. It's one thing to run a successful business, and Elon Musk has done very, very well at running his businesses, albeit he's taken a lot of technology and gotten a lot of government aid from the United States of America and a lot of government contracts, which is, coming from our tax dollars, from your tax dollars. And he wants to change the government of the United States and shape it in his own image, which is what it seems like to many, many people. That's what he wants to do. So let's go right now to Austin, Texas, and see what those people are saying over there.
Make sure that they take over everything. Are we going to let them do that? Are we going to let them run this government in the way that they can make even more money? And so they won't stop. It is so brazen. Every day, they're taking new action. They're taking executive action. Every day, they're doing something. Do you know that Trump and the billionaire class have created more cryptocurrency? Do you know that cryptocurrency is not a donation, it's not an investment, it's going into their pockets? Do you understand that the money makers are in charge, they think? But when the people decide that we're not going to be trumped on, that we're not going to be walked on, that we're not going to be stumped on, that we're not going to allow them to control our lives and push us out, that when they understand that, we will win. We've got to be prepared to be out here no matter how cold it is, no matter if...
Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate that. We are going to continue to just trip around the world and see what's happening here in the United States, the good old United States of America. And stand by as I look for a new feed and to see what is happening. Okay? Let's see. This might be the actual Austin, Texas feed that we have going on. So stand by 1 second and see what we can do. There's a lot of audio and video signals that are happening here, and I just want to make sure that I give you the right feed at the right time. Okay? So stand by. We'll go over to our live broadcast that's coming in to us from Austin, Texas.
Just as a reminder, we are only here till 4. But that does not mean that this ends. Take it home to your neighbors, your friends, your family, anyone who will listen.
those were our friends over in Austin, Texas, and you can tell that they have a very limited amount of time, but they are doing the best that they can, and they are very upset with what's happening in the United States, as many people across the country are, and we just want answers. Everybody wants to improve their life. Everybody wants to improve their situation. The challenge becomes how you go about that, and I think that's the big problem, that people see the current administration unilaterally making changes that have far-reaching, wide implications for not just our domestic policy and our citizenry, but for the world at large. You know, the big complaints are that Elon Musk has his fingers and his business associates have their fingers in our finances. They now have access to your social security numbers and to your financial records. And people are very upset with what's happening with USAID. They think that it's a good program that helps people in need around the world, which has the benefit of creating goodwill towards the United States and towards Americans. And besides doing good, it helps to control terrorism throughout the world. So let's go over here and let's see what's happening back in Sacramento, California. So currently, Donald Trump is going live, and he's giving his speech, and he's talking about sports, men and women playing each other's sports. I mean, this is obviously a big topic, and I personally think that women should play in women's sports and men should play in men's sports, and that there shouldn't really be any kind of crossover there. It's just, that's just my personal opinion, but everybody goes about it the different way. And I think rather than being a top-down hammer type of person, there should be room for dialogue. And I think that in general, we might need to create a whole new sporting category or sporting division. I don't know. But anyway, let's join President Trump as he starts to talk about how women can only play in women's sports and men can only play in men's sports. Stand by, I'll bring that to you live. It's coming from the White House.
sweeping effort to reclaim our culture and our laws from the radical left crusade against biological reality. On day one, I made it official, and I'm making it official policy of the United States government that there is, two genders. We have two genders. What might they be? Man and woman, right? Male and female. Male and female. Can't think of too many others, but it's pretty amazing. I rescinded federal funds to, and this is so important, to any program that promotes transgender ideology using taxpayer dollars. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. And last week, I effectively banned the chemical castration and surgical mutilation of minor children. Can you believe I even have to say that? I banned governor, I banned, it's just like, who would ever think we have to even say that? Last week I banned. Every day we're ending the extremism of the last 4 years. We have other things that are just as ridiculous, not having to do with the subject, but just as ridiculous. Open borders where people are allowed to pour in from all over the world, from jails and prisons and mental institutions and insane asylums, people that are very sick, people that are very evil, killers, murderers. Many of them murdered more than one person. And we have to justify the fact that we're moving them out. We are moving them out in tremendous numbers. Tom Homan and Christie are doing a fantastic job, and the governor and other governors too. But that we have to even fight for this stuff is just incredible. And the media doesn't want to talk about it because it's nothing they can talk about. It's just they just don't want to really talk very much about it. Serious problem, but we're doing a great job, and the people understand, and that's why we won in a landslide. You know, it's they made it easy, and at some point, we have to hope they do come around because we can never let this happen again. What's happened to our country, we can never let this happen again. So we are restoring sanity and common sense, very simply, to our government. We're defending the rights and safety and pride of the American people, including our great, great, great female athletes. What athletes you are, too, I tell you. And, I'm not allowed to say this politically. It could end my career. They're really beautiful people. These are beautiful people. But like everything else, it's a little bit different today. You're not allowed to say that because if you call a woman or a girl beautiful, that's the end of your career. But let's take a chance on it, Mike. Let's take a chance. So I want to thank everybody for being here. It's fantastic. And this is sort of a big, big day. It shouldn't have even been necessary to take place. This started a long time ago, and we ended it today. And I'm going to sign the executive order right now, and everything I said will go into effect immediately, okay? Thank you. If you'd like to gather around me, I think I'm going to be okay. Come on. Come on. Secret Service is worried about them? If we have to worry about them, we have big problems. Okay, do you want to do this? Watch what I do, and then I'm going to give you some pens, okay? Are you ready? What a nice picture this is, huh, Governor? You ready? We'll do a good job. Wait, let me press that. I want to make this a really good signature because this is a big one, right? Oh, I think we have a 10. We have a 10.
God bless you, Mr. President.
good, huh, sweetheart? Okay? Good. Now you're going to go out and win those events, right? Nice to see you all. Nice to see you. Great going, everybody. Nice to see you. Thank you, kids. Here, take a pen.
Thank you.
I'll give some of these out, okay? Take a pen, take a pen.
Thank you so much.
Where's Riley?
So that was President Trump signing another executive order. This time, the president signed that no men shall participate in women's sports. No men shall participate in women's sports. I don't know if women can participate in men's sports. That is not clear. I don't know if that is what the executive order said. But that one said that no men in women's sports. Now, I personally happen to agree that men and women shouldn't play in each other's sports, and maybe we need to create a new category, a new sporting category where women and men can compete against one another. But it's interesting to talk and listen to President Trump talk about things, and that there's only two genders, and in theory, right, there are only two genders, and that has been the norm for throughout history. That is the norm, right? There are two genders, but there are people that are born with different additional body parts, right? I mean, that is a fact. Some people are born with both male and female body parts. It is a thing that naturally happens in nature. It may not be the norm, but it does happen. And we have to acknowledge that. And I was speaking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about Elon Musk and how smart he is, and how brilliant he is, and he is all those things. But, the question becomes, or the issue is that, I think by his own admission, he's a bit on the spectrum, and he self-medicates, and he takes care of himself. And the person who I was speaking with, and who I highly respect, said that maybe that type of person like Elon Musk is what we are evolving to. So if I think about that, if we're all evolving towards a person that is, brilliant and smart and somewhat on the spectrum, is what we consider it today, being on the spectrum, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? We have to accept that. That is something that naturally occurs in nature with humanity, right? But if that's the way we're going, then couldn't the same argument be made for humans going towards evolving in their physical makeup? I don't know. I think so. It seems like logically to me, but I'm not a doctor. I don't know. So anyway, let's see what's happening here, and we'll wrap it up, and we will go over to our coverage of the Sacramento resistance. And I really don't care about that ad, but let's see. I'll bring you just 2 more minutes before I have to wrap this up. And again, it's Don Hughes, and thank you very much for joining us on netnews.tv. This is a feed that's coming to you from Sacramento, and it's brought to you by the Associated Press. And I just want to take the time to say thank you to all the people and companies that put their content out there online via YouTube and streamed it directly to the open internet. Thank you very much. Those include the Associated Press, Reuters, PBS. It also includes CBS affiliates, ABC affiliates, the Times of India, and other news associates and other newswire services. This service is coming to you from Sacramento, and it's via the Associated Press. So I want to say thank you very much. And I have not made any money whatsoever off of this broadcast, or this stream, as they call it. Thanks very much.
1961. He said make it great again. This isn't just great. John's saying we should all be at work. He's sitting on a contract.
So you saw the sign there, it said, "Get the hell out of Doge." Very interesting, very kind of very funny. That was the feed coming out of Sacramento, California. It's the capital of California, and it was brought to you by the Associated Press. And I want to say thank you very much to all of the companies who made their content and their live streams available via the wide open internet. And I really appreciate that, and everybody appreciates that. A wide open internet and sharing of information and the Fourth Estate and the public square is where we can find out the best news for our own country and to see what's happening around the world. I'm Don Hughes, and thank you for joining NetNews.tv. I'm going to sign it off now, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you very much.